I came up with a very unique set of abilities for the Austro-Hungarian Empire if it made it to Civilization 7. Who would be leading it? How history influenced these abilities? Let's find out. The ability of the empire would be called Multi-Ethnic Empire, and as its name suggests, it refers to the multiple cultures and ethnic minorities that lived in Austria-Hungary. So let's do a bit of history before getting into the ability itself. The Austro-Hungarian Empire existed in Central Eastern Europe for a little over than 50 years, and not surprisingly, it was the union of two states, Austria and Hungary. Both ruled by the Austrian Habsburg monarchy, but there were more peoples than the Austrian and the Hungarian under the rule of the emperor, like Germans, Czechs, Poles, Slovaks, Italians, Romanians, Ukrainians, Croats, and others. At the beginning of the 20th century, these minorities were strongly pushing for their independence, and after the empire lost the First World War, it broke apart. Based on this, we can think of the Austro-Hungarian Empire as not being able to achieve 100% of loyalty in their cities, and instead being capped at, say, 60%. But because of the different peoples that made up the empire, it was a very powerhouse of culture, since each of them got their cultural traditions and heritage with them. So we could think of a plus 1% culture in the city for each citizens born in there, with a maximum of plus 15%. Maybe it's too much? This could give the Austro-Hungarian Empire a big boost to the culture, but at the same time a dangerously low loyalty, with the Austro-Hungarian cities being constantly at the brink of becoming independent cities. Well, stay tuned to see the leader's ability that make the perfect combination with that of the empire, but first, what about the unique building and unit? The unique building of the empire could be the Opera House. This building would replace the amphitheater. This is because both the Budapest and the Vienna Opera House still are two of the most important and renowned opera houses in the world, with the city of Vienna itself being a major center for music, art, and literature. Not only that, but the empire saw the birth of several famous musicians, just like the Austrian Empire before. The Austro-Hungarian Opera House would give +2 great musician points and +1 great writer point, as well as 4 slots for great works, 2 of music and 2 of literature. When it comes to the unique unit, we could think of the London Schützen, hope I pronounced it well, which were infantry regiments created in 1871 and later specialized in mountain combat when in 1906 the empire recognized they needed specialized mountain troops. Then, some regiments of these soldiers were assigned as such, and the new mountain force of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was born. These soldiers would have a 10% extra combat strength on hills, and an extra +5% for each adjacent mountain. And now, who would lead the empire? The name of the leader ability would be Dual Monarchy, and it has to do with the fact that the empire was a union of 2 monarchies, and the leader would be none other than the first and virtually last Austro-Hungarian emperor, Franz Joseph I. Let's get into history to uncover this. In 1848, a series of revolts broke out in Vienna in an event known as the Revolutions of 1848. They demanded more political representation, a new constitution, as well as a more liberal government. This forced Emperor Ferdinand I to abdicate in favor of his nephew, Archduke Franz Joseph. But these revolts went beyond Austria, sending shockwaves all across Europe, and particularly to the interior of the Austrian Empire, with strong revolts and uprisings in the Italian territories controlled by the Habsburgs, and street fights breaking out between the Milanese revolutionaries and the Austrian army. To the east, it went even further. In Hungary, there was already a big nationalist movement pushing for more autonomy and independence before 1848 that exploded with the uprisings of that year. They organized massive marches and demonstrations to the Austrian emperor claiming for reforms. The uprising escalated into a full-on war of independence that was crushed by the Austrian army, and even the emperor asked for help to the Russian Empire. The Hungarians' desires of independence were stopped, but they could be back. After some wars against Bismarck's Prussia, soon the Great German Empire, and the Italian states, Austria was at the verge of collapse in 1866. With the empire crumbling, the Hungarians saw the opportunity again to gain independence and finally be free from the Habsburgs. But Franz Joseph had other plans. He moved Hungary to the status of kingdom, together with the Austrian Empire, founding the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Hungary would have much more autonomy, its own parliament and leader to work on their internal affairs. But the military, diplomacy and international affairs could be carried out by the central government, with the Austrian monarch being the king of Hungary as well. This is known as the Hungarian Compromise that gave rise to the dual monarchy. Going back to Franz Joseph and his abilities if he appeared in Civ 7, I came up with a pretty unique ability. Given that Austro-Hungarian cities could have low loyalty and would always be on the brink of becoming free cities, Franz Joseph's ability could be that of being able to grant partial independence to those cities that already have the glowing fist on top of them. By doing this, he could keep the cities as part of your empire, but they could gain some autonomy, with the AI taking over the production of the city only when it comes to buildings, since the central authority still has the power over the military. What do you think? What would you change? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.